Welcome, everybody, to our next episode of 73 Degrees. It's a podcast where we study about what makes the perfect environment for our clients, for their homes, for their spaces, and maybe for you too. So just to start out, a little bit of a touch on 73 degrees and where that comes from. Each of us have our own unique relationship with the thermostat, and each of us have our own specific number. As interior designers, it is our goal to set our favorite number aside, our favorite environment aside, and really pick up on the nuances of what makes our client the most happy. What's the perfect environment for them? So I want to introduce you to one of our most fun favorite clients, Sarah McFadden. We just wrapped up a project with her up Provo Canyon. It's super charming. It's called the Cherry Lane Project. I feel like it is the essence of all the bubbly, wonderful things. And we want to share and hear a little bit from Sarah about what has made this the perfect environment for you. So start us off with a couple of things, maybe talk about the goal of the home and the shape of the project a little bit.
So this was a really big project. We purchased this house for my extended family. So my parents, my siblings, and all of our families to use as a vacation home. Some of us are located in Utah. Others aren't. We have grandkids coming up through BYU and doing all those things. So this location was really perfect. And this house was almost the way that we wanted it when we purchased it, but we needed to do some renovations and finish the basement. And we bought the house empty. And unlike a normal home purchase where you kind of bring stuff with you, we had a big empty house that we needed to fill with lots of furniture. And so I started working with Stacy and her team, and it was just so much fun. We wanted this home to be very functional, like a vacation house. So we wanted all of the comforts of home, but then we also wanted it to be super fun, to have lots of fun spaces. My family has lots of diverse interests that we share, and we kind of wanted all of those things to be reflected in this house. And so we kind of needed just a lot of help getting not just the furniture, but all the fun stuff too. And that's where we started. And now we're finally at the point where we're seeing it all come together.
So much fun watching it all come together, all of these grand visions. Talk to us a little bit about a couple of your favorite spaces of the house. I think are maybe my favorite spaces too. They turned out really cool. And tell us what was maybe the essence of the future memory that you're trying to make behind some of those rooms. I think we kind of went into it with this grand vision because you set it up really well for us by saying, here's this type of space. I imagine so-and-so doing these kind of things in this space. Kind of tell us what some of those are.
Yeah. So that was one part of this process that I really liked, is that I didn't just talk about we need 6 queen beds and 5 chairs around the table or whatever. We talked about people in my family and just what we like to do. So some of my very favorite spaces in this house, we have a secret room, a hidden room in one part of the house where you walk through these big ornate wardrobe doors and you go into this little room. It was meant to be a spot for my mom. My mom is a reader and a puzzler. And she really likes to have a project on a table in front of her and have her grandkids come and sit and do the project with her. That's what she really likes. And so we put together this room. It's not a very big room, but it has room for some seats and a table and shelves and this really cool window bench. Stacy was able to source these, they're shutter doors, I think, from India. And so they're super heavy and really cool looking. And so it creates this really cool moment when you swing open these big heavy doors and you walk through and it's all jungly inside. The wallpaper has all these animals on it and the colors are really warm and kind of dark. And so you walk in and it's just whoa, this is a whole other world in this little hidden room. It's so fun.
So I was hoping you would go there because that's my all-time favorite spot in the whole room. And it's so noteworthy. One of my kids was here helping a little while ago when we were doing the initial install. And he was like, Mom, you've got to do this. As if I'd never seen it or heard about it before, but I imagine that's kind of the reaction you get from most of your guests. I imagine that one is pretty high on the noteworthy.
Yeah. Even the people in construction, all of our contractor people, they walk in and they're in new houses all the time. They walk in and they're like, whoa.
It's such an really epic space. And I think that to me is such the essence of what we're trying to create when we say the perfect environment. Like to me, I think of 73 degrees, right? Like if I'm hot in the summer and I turn on the AC, I'll blow it full blast that cold and I still work back to like how I like it. And same with the winter, I'll blast it hot and I'll still work it back to where I like it. And I think you have this vision of your mom and she wants to have a puzzle out in front of her. It's kind of challenging if you have that out in the main space. Somebody's going to want to clean it up or eat food off of that table. And this is entirely just for that purpose of making memories with her. And I think like it lets her lean into her best trait. How the kids and the grandkids like to see her and how she likes to see herself. And it just makes it really easy for her to be authentic. So I think that's one of my all-time favorite spots in the house.
Yes, it is beautiful. And kind of in that same vein, another room that we set up is our music room. We've got a baby grand piano in there. And in my family, everyone learns to play the piano. It's like a thing for my family. And my dad, nothing makes my father happier than when we gather around the piano and he'll pull out his guitar and people are playing and singing. And that just makes him so, so happy. And so in that room, what we worked together to envision this space that has, it's also not a super huge room and it's got some big things in there. But we have lots of seating and lots of lights and lots of places where people can kind of gather around the piano to make my dad happy.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like that is where he is his most authentic self is when he's in that setting.
I love that. And such a prime setting to make memories, right? Like the whole intent in my mind of a vacation home is to come together and make memories. And I think it's so cool, especially it's pretty unique for a vacation home to have something like a baby grand piano in it. Usually it's like, oh, that's not necessary. Let's get away from all the norms of life. But that to him was the essence of being able to make memories with family. And I love the guitar aspect and he gets to play his part and you guys get to play your part. And I think like automatic memories when you come in and like the house automatically does its job with just those couple of rooms. So I love that so much. Also, you talked about how one of the challenges of a vacation home is we're trying to get away from our everyday life, but we still have responsibilities at home. We still have responsibilities with our work. And so I think that can be a conflict where you want to get away, but you still have these responsibilities. And a general tendency for a vacation home is to maybe, I think when we're going into vacation, we pick as short of dates as possible because we're really aware of our regular life. And on the back end, we wish we would have stretched it. And tell us about a couple of the things that we did to help make life a little bit easier for you guys when you're battling that.
Yes, I have several remote workers, flexible workers in my family. And so when we were putting together our plan for this house, we made sure to create lots of kind of spots where people can work, which, like you said, typically you try to shorten your vacation to avoid that. But sometimes it's kind of nice if you're flexible that way to have places where you can set up and log in, get your stuff done, and then log out. So we have 2 bedrooms in the house with hot desk situations with a monitor and a dock where you can plug in a laptop. And then beyond that, we've got several other spaces in the house with a comfortable seat and a table in a place where they can be kind of out of the way to take a phone call or do whatever they need to do. So that was kind of a must for a lot of my family members to have those sorts of spaces. And your team was able to kind of incorporate that in a way where it's like, we don't have those plastic rolling chair things on the floor. And it's not like you don't walk in and it looks like, oh, they just shoved an office space into this room. It's more like, oh, there's just this little corner that's all set up and ready for you if you want to use it. And it's a lot less intrusive, at least to my mind.
Yeah.
That it's just.
And no battle for the office, right? There's not just like one central office and, hey, it's my turn. I have to book a slot, right?
Right.
And it's nice to just have it. They kind of tuck right into the rooms where you already are. So you can close your own door and work and everybody can go out and do their thing. Okay. So tell us about this one thing. I'm going to talk about 2 spaces. So around the corner from the puzzle room is one of my favorite spaces, the Hollywood bathroom, we call it. It's super glam. It's right around the corner from the theater space. And so that's kind of why we leaned into this like old 20s, like glam Hollywood vibe. So you can touch on the bathroom if you want. There's kind of a fun little spot in there where we had to accommodate something. And then the theater had a couple of specific requirements as well.
Yeah, so the Hollywood bathroom is really so fun. The basement originally was not stubbed for an extra bathroom there, but we decided that we wanted just a little bit more bathroom downstairs. So we drilled all the lines and put in the things. And it made it tricky because that bathroom is where the sump pump for the whole house is. So that required like some special like permitting and issues. And so it was tricky to kind of get the spacing right. But your team was able to kind of just, it's a full bathroom. It has a shower and a sink and a toilet. And you kind of just tucked it away back in there. And it's such a fun bathroom. When you walk in, the toilet space has an arched doorway with this amazing wallpaper. It's like the most beautiful wallpaper you've ever seen. And it's just in the little toilet with these like cool little pictures. And so it's a very dramatic, tiny little bathroom that is it's 100% functional and just, it's so fun to walk into that bathroom.
Totally packs a punch. It's like a little tiny spot.
It's so great. And then, like you said, just around the corner is our home theater. And that logistically, I think for your team we were very impressed with how you handled it. We worked with an AV company. So they just install theaters like that. And it's a pretty big home theater with stadium seating, a huge projection system, built-in speakers, extra soundproofing, like all of the things. And you and your team worked with that. Like we didn't have to intercede between your two companies at all. You just handled it together. They did all of the technical, mechanical things, and your team worked with them to put together the look of the room, helped by the seating and the wall coverings and the lighting. So that it was seamless for us that we didn't have to step in at all and be like, oh, show and tell said this, I need to edit this. Like you just communicated with each other and it was so good for us. Again, that was a big like multi-step thing. Part of the install, like we had to wait for construction to finish. And then the AV company came in and did all their stuff. And then you came back and installed your stuff. So it was multi-step, kind of logistically a little bit tricky, but it went off without a hitch.
I love it. Yeah, I think that's one of our biggest goals. I think I have a family member who's going through something challenging and we're helping her with a design project right now. And we were talking about how in the initial stages, she kept saying, you don't need to help me with this. You don't need to help me. It's my life. Like I got it managed. And in the reality, once we kind of worked into it, it was a fraction of the time that my team could spend on it versus what it would take her, even though she's capable of turning it into what she wanted to. It was just so nice for her to be able to look at the packets, to look at the proposal, to look at our process and just say, yes, I love it, or change those 3 things. And at the end of the day, I think it's that exchange of doing what we're best at, right? Like your dentist shouldn't be laying tile and your tile guy shouldn't be working on your teeth, And I think that's kind of the beauty of how this process works. You guys live your everyday lives and you do all your things. And hopefully you feel like the way we present the material for you makes it really easy to just say, yep, you nailed it. That's the direction we're trying to go. Or like, nope, you totally missed it. Let's rework it. And to be candid, like that never hurts our feelings. If somebody says like, that's really bad. That's not my style at all. It doesn't happen very often, but once in a while it's kind of like, it's kind of a swing and a miss. And then we just adjust.
Yeah. So, I think for me in the process, there's only a few times where it would be like, maybe we can switch out this chair. Like it was little adjustments rather than like scrap it. But you're right. Like the way that everything was laid out and presented was super easy. It was easy to visualize how things would look in the space. It was just a lot of fun, honestly, for my stand.
Good. I love it. Yeah. Anything that stands out as kind of a final if you were to tell a friend, I guess, what would be kind of the number one thing of what made it the overall process, the perfect environment? I mean, I know the timeline was really challenging and that was kind of out of everyone's control. It was kind of like a land and a city thing, but overall walking away, what would you say? Like, oh, I'm really glad we settled into X.
I was really happy with how quickly your team kind of took the vision that I came with. You listened to me talk ad nauseum about all of my family members.
Sure.
Like all of them. And all of that was translated into physical things, into pieces of furniture, into spaces. And it was presented to me in such a way that I could envision it too. I tell people all the time, I don't know how to design a space, but I know a good space when I walk into it. Like designing the space is your talent, not mine. And so I was a little concerned when we first started out. Before I decided on a designer to help me, I was a little worried, like they're just going to show me furniture and I'm going to have to, like, in my mind's eye, put that furniture where I think it should go. And I am not good at that. But with all the tools that you use, like full rooms were presented digitally to me so that I could kind of see it and say, oh, this is great. And like the files kept coming so I could share them with my family. We had lots of Zoom calls where I would present things to them and it was the same for them. Like they just were able to envision it and understand how it was all going to work out. That part of the process was super fun and super easy. And as time went on and it came to the end stages where it was time to install, again, like I was here on, I think most of the install days and like your team just comes through and things just assemble. And in literally, I don't know, 12 or 14 hours, it went from this big empty house to this home that was just full of fun stuff. So it was a really fun experience.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, you definitely carried a heavy weight of like everyone's opinion. You were kind of like the master manager of the whole thing and the liaison between your entire extended family and this space. One of my very favorite parts of the process, and then we'll wrap up, is when your dad was here as well. And my favorite thing that he did is he came and sat in every single chair. In every single chair in the house. And he approved everyone. It was comfortable, right? I think that's one thing that can make you a little nervous going in. Like, okay, everything looks great, but how's it actually going to be?
Yeah. And that was something that I spoke with your team about early in the process. Like, we wanted things to look nice, kind of this luxury hotel feel, but it was very important for my family of sitters that they could sit and feel comfortable and it wasn't too like precious that they were going to break things or whatever. And so he sat in every single chair. That was his number one priority. And he was happy with everything.
I love it. Good. I mean, the chair's first job is to be something you can sit upon. So it's great if it's beautiful as well. But if it's not comfortable to sit upon, it's not doing its job. So I love it. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on the show with us. We're so glad that it turned out really well for you. We're so delighted to have this as a piece of our portfolio. We're really proud of the work. And we thank you for taking us along on the journey and helping it become a great space for your family. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks everyone for listening. Join us next time on 73 Degrees. And if you want to see the Cherry Lane project, keep an eye out. We'll have the big reveal and the walkthrough where you can see all these fun details that we've been chatting about today. Have a good one.